Hi there, Sherie Smith again. I believe that our attitude has everything to do with everything we see, do, touch, try to do that day, everything. Attitude colors everything we do. I'm going to give you a quick example. Now, I have tried to record this video a couple of times over the last few weeks. It's really difficult for me because I'm talking about my mom and dad and the difference between my dad's personality and my mother's personality. So if I stumble and get a little choked up in the middle, I apologize now. I'll do my very best not to. My dad has always been the kind of man that was very private, and yet on the outside he was warm and gracious and funny and was always the life of the party in the most complimentary way. He was always the one that people were waiting to see arrive, always the one they wanted to spend time with, always the one they wanted to talk to. They went to him for advice, and this was friends, family, and businessmen. They would go to him for advice, and the family, like, I'm an only child, so all of my cousins would say, what would Uncle Lonnie do? Uncle Lonnie, what do you think we should do? Uncle Lonnie, can we do this? He was always in the lake playing with them, or, putting them in a boat for a boat ride, or helping them go fish or crabbing, or teaching them to water ski. My dad was really a very well-loved man, and he still is. He is now 92 and has Alzheimer's. He's 3 years into it, but we are so blessed. He still has a great attitude. And he still, along with my mom, they're both still able to live in an independent apartment, albeit on the grounds of the senior facility. They're not in the main building, and they're not in the Alzheimer's building. They're still in an independent department, but the help for them is just across the street. And the best part is, in the spring and early summer, we move them up here to be closer to us, so now we're only 7 minutes away instead of 750 miles away. So now let me get to the main part of the story. That was background. My mom is 89. My dad has been her entire life. They worked together in the office. My dad was a real estate appraiser. They played together on the weekends. We were always boating, water skiing, fishing, hunting, camping, always outdoors, raising cows. We were always outdoors in a very active family. Somehow or other, she managed to get the housework done only at nights, Monday through Friday. I don't know how she did it, because she was taking me to events. I participated in Scouts and Mamsells, which was a girls high school girls sorority, drill team, and it was a very active life. I had a great childhood. So now, fast forwarding to him being 92 and she now being 89, and she has some memory problems, although she doesn't have Alzheimer's, and she also has a back deformity, which is causing her spine to twist and turn, and so she has some mobility issues, and occasionally she does have some pain with it if she overexerts herself. But they take care of each other, and they laugh and say, you put both of them together, they got one whole human being, and life is pretty sweet. And it is, after 69 years of marriage. Wow, big shoes to follow, really. So the other day I was over there visiting with them at lunchtime. They were sitting eating their lunch, and lunch over there is the big meal of the day, and then they give them a lighter meal at night, which is, healthier for us. So I walked in, they were already eating, and I helped butter my dad's roll and, get him a napkin, a couple little things, and then I sat down with them and we visited. And my dad, he's just enjoying his lunch. He's not bothering either one of us. He's just sitting there being in a good mood and eating his lunch away. From the time I sat down with him, my mom had started complaining about the food, and she went on and on and on. About 15 minutes later, right to the point where I'm about to say, Mom, you got to stop it. Stop that. How you get to that point, you're just about to go, My dad took care of that for me. my dad put his fork down and he said, "Let me ask you a question," to my mom. And she said, "What?" He said, "Have you ever missed a meal?" And she was thinking, you could tell she was, she said, "I don't understand." He said, "Have you ever missed a meal?" And she's really, now it's like to the point where she's propped and and I swear it went on for a minute or so, to the point Daddy and I were about to go, "Spit it out." And then she says, "No, I don't think so." And he said, "My point exactly." Picked up his fork and continued eating. Whether or not the food was good, whether some days were better than others, the only difference between them was attitude. They slept in the same bed as far as comfort with the mattress. They stayed in the same apartment. We all went the same places. Whenever they went out, it'd be to the drugstore or to a doctor's appointment, or two doors down to the grocery store. They always did things together, or they'd walk across to the dining hall if they didn't want to eat in their apartment that day. They had their new friends. They had the same new friends. All of the conditions were exactly the same, except attitude. My mom could only see the negative, and my dad was his usual contented, happy, pleasant, thankful, just self. Great attitude. And 3 years into Alzheimer's, we are so blessed, so blessed. I have talked with my mom about it many times. And the funny thing is, she doesn't know she's doing it. And yet they swear, they've tested her, they swear she doesn't have Alzheimer's. So it's interesting that after my dad does have Alzheimer's 3 years in, my mom, who doesn't, has sort of taken on what is typically the Alzheimer grouchy, not happy about anything attitude. And my dad loves life. These therapy people love to work on him. He says, they say, "Man, I wish all of our patients were like this. Mr. Lonnie, we wish we could take care of you all the time. You're our favorite client." The difference is just attitude. Attitude colors everything we do, everything in how we come across to others, and it colors everything about how we take in all the good and bad about life. We can either let it knock us down to our knees, or we can say, "That's okay, I'll make it through. I still have a lot of good stuff happening here." Attitude. The next day you're having a really bad day and everybody you come in contact with is a grouch. You might do a little self-check and see if you got up on the wrong side of the bed that day. Because if you did, I can guarantee you every person you're going to meet that day is going to be in a bad mood. But if you wake up with a good attitude, with an attitude of anticipation for what great things are going to come your way that day, great things will come your way that day. I'm Sherie Smith. I hope this hasn't gone on too long, but I wanted to share this story, and I think this one I'll keep. All right. You be blessed. Bye-bye.